Ben 10 seems to get more women than just about every action cartoon protagonist I can think of, but the poor guy can't seem to keep one on the hook for very long. Whether they're completely disrespected and thrown in the garbage, used in a one-off episode to show that he can cheat on his girl, or someone absolutely no one liked, and yet end up marrying the dude, Ben's love life has a bunch of ups and downs throughout the series. I'll eventually be ranking them from worst to best, but consider this video a spoiler because I'm going to be going through what I believe was Ben's best relationship, that had the most potential, and that was absolutely shunned in a shocking display. Ester.
Cross-pollination of our careers.
Ester was probably my favorite character ever out of Omniverse, probably even more so than Rook. Her chemistry with Ben was undeniable, and she comes off as the best choice for Ben as a girlfriend throughout the series. Sadly, she only appears in 5 episodes, and yet those 5 episodes still manage to do her justice and display her great character dynamic with Ben. So why don't we start off from the beginning, shall we?
She likes you, Ben dude. Everyone likes me. I'm the hero.
Omniverse starts off by introducing us to this new world. New characters, new villains, new art style. And new girlfriend, maybe? 8 episodes in, Ester starts off as the thief girl shtick, as she cleverly outmaneuvers Ben and Rook as she's stealing a nuclear fusion ball. Why is it when the antagonist outplays the protagonist, they always end up having a thing together at the end? All I'm saying is, you wouldn't be seeing Trumbipular beating Ben anytime soon, but this would be a completely different video. She clearly has a bit of passion and recognizes Ben as she beats him in the chase, giving him funny remarks and quips as she kicks his butt. When they finally corner her family, I guess, comes over. They call themselves the Kraho, and they need extreme heat to survive, hence why they need the fusion core to make their habitat molten lava. They fight Ben and Rook and almost beat them until Ester betrays them and rebels against their own motives. This proves to be her character revelation moment, as she prefers to work with Ben rather than the destructive agenda of the Kraho, who use the nuclear ball to make lava pour onto Bellwood streets. This bonds the two of them closer and displays their pretty instant chemistry on screen. Ben seems rather oblivious to it, because I mean, Omniverse Ben is always a clueless idiot in cases like this, but after they go topside and play some street games, you can finally see the two of them blush as they both dry each other off. It's a pretty sweet moment, and the classic Omniverse music playing in the background as Rook reflects on this revelation is pretty insightful. Rook is still a bit skeptical as to her true intentions, but Ben seems to be love-struck and totally lets his guard down, which turns out not to be a plot thread at all, surprisingly. I'm kinda glad she didn't betray them again, because not only have we seen that shtick 1,000 times, but here it kind of overstates welcome and erase the progress we made with the blushing scene and their chemistry so far. I mean, come on, even the Kinesilarans call them boyfriend and girlfriend. That's totally not forcing a dynamic here that's utterly rushed in 22 minutes, right? God, these writers are so lucky that these two actually have some kind of natural chemistry. And that's despite Ester not being a full human like Ben, not really looking anything like him, and being a completely new character out of this episode.
I gotta go. Lots of cleanup at home.
Let me help.
You better. BTW, I happen to love Mr. Smoothie.
Moving on to her second appearance, we see Ester again in Rules of Engagement, the infamous lovey-dovey episode of Omniverse, with every major love character aside from Kai getting a seat at the table here. Ester is actually included in a few of those, as we'll see, but this episode in particular is special for the fact that it reintroduces Julie and removes her from the picture in a sense. This episode also solidifies Ester and Ben's relationship, as we see a less rebellious side of Ester and a more compassionate side that no longer has that edge. She helps Ben fights, she uses her powers a bunch, she flirts with Ben quite a bit, and is not afraid to make any moves with Ben. The problem here happens to be Julie, so a bit of background. After Omniverse happened and Gwen and Kevin went off to college, there was no really use to the character of Julie, as she was basically an extension of the original trio. So Omniverse was tasked with the challenge of killing her off, in a sense, without turning off most of the fanbase. They did one of those pretty well, but unfortunately not the other. They gave this asinine flashback to Ben breaking up with Julie over a misunderstanding, leading to Julie replacing him with some snooty French photographer, who is a lot more caring and understanding of her. In this episode, she does stand up for Ben on a few occasions, and kudos for that, keeping her still on Flandra's character technically, but the breakup excuse was probably one of the weakest excuses this franchise has thrown out there. And a bigger problem here is that despite Ester is a much better choice for Ben, he still chooses to run after Julie when they both get blasted, signifying pretty blatantly in my opinion that he still has feelings for Julie and Ester is more of a third wheel to him. This is clearly intentional writing and in my opinion is really hard to watch because Julie is pretty snarky to Ben while Ester has had some pretty amazing chemistry, and this idiot still chases the one who he never even cared for. There are a lot of issues here as you can see, but after Princess Luma comes to wed Ben and all that jazz, we get a lot of interplay happening, including Julie, Ben and Ester, Luma and Ben, Rook and Festina, sort of, etc. Ultimately, the real winner here is Ester, as she gets some major moments to shine, which actually distinguishes her from the others. For one, she actually likes Ben for Ben the most, and not for any of his aliens. She even simps for Ben a bit at the end when she says she likes Mr. Smoothie. Now that is how you win over Ben Tennyson's heart.
Yeah! Go sumo!
Next up we have Catfight, where now we add Taya into the mix, along with Rook's girlfriend from Ravana, a mind-controlled Ben, and 4 simping ladies all chasing the poor guy. The main idea behind this episode was the rivalry between Luma and Taya, as they both want a husband to stand beside them, and find Ben's forearms and bullfrog forms to be the most attractive. Add Nancy Chan's annoying cat antics to that, along with a mind-controlled Wrath, which is probably the greatest thing ever, by the way. Again, while the two princesses only find Ben attractive in his alien forms, Ester is unique in that she outright says she likes Ben the most when he's a human. She even gladly sits next to him in the theater as he nerds over sumo slammers. I mean, you don't get a better girlfriend than that. I do wish we got a bit more effort from Ben here. I mean, not boring and bland like in Peer Pressure, but something a bit more meaningful than sitting there like a goofball while Ester makes all the moves. I guess that's the price you pay when watching Omniverse sometimes. They end up going through a whole thing, which actually takes Ben through some pretty good character development, as he just ends the entire competition and just wants to get back to his date with Ester as they race back to the theater. Before I forget, many people forget this, but Ester was actually voiced by Tara Platt, who is married to Yuri Lowenthal in real life. She also voiced Jennifer Nocturne, and it somehow makes their chemistry on screen more palpable because it literally worked IRL, so, you know.
Where's Ben?
He and Kai got stuck in the room.
What? Together? Alone? Together?
Hi, I'm Sarcastic Chorus, and today I'll be talking about A Night at the Museum. See, when Ben Stiller slapped a monkey... Wait, is that not what we're talking about? Oh yeah, this is a Ben 10 video. Sorry, got my scripts confused. Oh yeah, this episode turns Esther from being her own character into one designed to turn Kai and Ben into a thing. And it's here that things go south. Spanner comes from the future to get Kai and Ben closer together, and tells them all about how they'll get married in the future, which shockingly upsets Esther and confuses Ben more than usual. And Kai is as annoying as she usually is, because the writers really wanted to force us in at the last minute. I know, she was destined to be his wife or whatever, but I kinda hate the entire concept in general. But yeah, throughout the episode, Esther is being really sweet to Ben. But we also see her become more and more envious as she sees Kai as a threat. She hates being stuck with Rook and prefers to be alone with Ben, insisting with sticking with him as he has to stay the night with Kai at the exhibit, constantly hugging him to mark her territory, while Ben stares off into the distance, not knowing any of the museum artifacts. He ends up being a pretty decent boyfriend, kind of, and understands the social faux pas when Kai hugs him or when he's in the doghouse for bringing Rook. Couldn't realize that this was a date beforehand, but now that he's here, he might as well suffer through it and realized he screwed up. Very loudly, mind you. Fun little bits of Ben and Esther, but Kai's here, and the writers had to ruin it.
Esther, you've been looking kind of stressed.
Esther the Crawho off on vacation to the loser's box.
Thanks, Sarcastic Chorus. One of my favorite episodes of this show is the one written by Yuri Lowenthal, which includes every single female character Ben has interacted with. There's potential here for a future video, but in regards to Esther, this episode has a lot going for it. From the very beginning, Ben ignores Esther's phone call and thinks she wants to take the relationship to the next level, which he doesn't want. Again, Ben's inconsistency on this is a bit frustrating, but to be fair, he never really saw her as more than just a date he's basically screwing up on, so I understand where he's coming from, but he ignores her quite a bit throughout the episode for the stupid forced twist at the end. Throughout the episode, it seems to be her versus Kai as they go through all the challenges, and although Kai wins in the end after the host forces it, Ben actually picks Esther over Kai when it comes down to it. She also doesn't act all stuck up and narcissistic when Ben helps her, and doesn't constantly fish for compliments in the worm fight scene. God, I hate Kai so damn much. Level after level, she wants to talk to Ben, but he ignores her, and it's revealed at the end that she just wanted to friend zone the poor dude, and she's dating frickin' Antonio from Ultimate Alien. God damn, I love Yuri Lowenthal's sense of humor here. Wasn't Antonio the same dunce who dated Sunny? That's just perfect, but anyway, Esther ends up telling him that she likes him a lot, and unlike Kai, who literally in this episode compliments two of Ben's aliens and taunts him when he turns back to human, she likes him as him, and she even got used to his craziness, but she's tired of fighting fate. And I think ultimately that's the real key takeaway from this character, which is that Ben's relationship is based on a very strict track of fate, and Esther simply didn't fit into that picture. And despite having incredible charisma and chemistry with Ben on screen, and being his nicest and most caring girlfriend throughout the show, Esther ultimately couldn't fight the snarling jaws of fate. Hey, thanks for watching. This video was a lot of fun to write, and I'm not done here yet. The next video on this topic will include every girlfriend Ben has ever had. Now you know the number 1 spot in that ranking. This video doesn't technically fall into my 4-episode Ben 10 series, where I deconstruct one aspect of each of the first 4 shows. But speaking of that, if you enjoyed this video, please consider checking one of those out, including my Alien X video, Vilgax video, or my previous one on the Omniverse art style redesigns. That's about it with me. Be sure to like and subscribe for more, and I'll see you beautiful ladies and jellyfish next time. Shalom!